Hey guys, how's it going? It's Kara here with another Exos series video. And in today's video, I want to talk about the Signature Force director's letter that they just released here a couple days ago. I know that this is a little late. I believe that it was March 25th. Today is the 30th, so or 31st as I'm recording this. I still want to talk about it because this is actually really interesting, and I feel like this is something that absolutely needed to be addressed, and I think this is positive, encouraging for the future, I should say. So let me read it off. Regarding the new nation and Signature Force greetings, this is Youngsun Choi, the director of Exos Heroes. After today's update, many of you have shared with us your opinions. Most of all, we want to talk to everyone about our directions regarding the release of the new nation and Signature Force. We have noticed that there were many worried voices regarding the release of a new nation. This is all because we had not thoroughly thought of the inconvenience that this may occur, as our focus was on providing you with all the new heroes and stories. We realized that this was our mistake. First of all, we apologize for providing you inconvenience when only funds should be given. From this letter, we would like to deliver our current and future plans. Current and future plans: Signature Force is consisted of 8 nations, including Saint West from the recent update, and then Rachel's faction, Greenland, Janai's faction, Wasted Red, Northbound Frosty, Brun, Vagabond, and Saint West. Designed the Signature Force system, we had planned of having a total of 9 nations within Signature Force, including 1 unrevealed nation. If we go in the direction of our original plan, Signature Force last nation, Marinos Island, was supposed to be added in Season 5 around December 2021, January, so literally next year. We plan to have no more nations added to the Signature Force until Season 5 update. The new nation, Vidas, was revealed from today's update, will not have their own Signature Force, but the new heroes from there, I'm gonna massively butcher that name, will be able to freely move around the Signature Force nations. This was to reduce the burden of strengthening nations every time whenever they're newly added to Signature Force. We are still in the process of developing the Signature Force nation change system. Further explanation regarding this matter will be announced later on. Okay, and then closing comment. Okay, and then they're just apologizing. So I think this is actually a really big deal. The thing that I think is encouraging is that the heroes from this area will be able to freely move around the Signature Force nations and then reduce the burden of strengthening nations every time whenever they... Okay, so there's that, but there's a process of developing the Signature Force nation change system. Because actually, let me back up. When it came to... I feel like it was a win-win for both of us, the players and the company, because at this point they have core memory and they have Signature Force. If you don't have those two things, the character is useless. So if they ever try to release a new character that's from another nation, no one's going to care. No one's ever going to pull for it. We're not going to be excited because we know just how much it's going to take. So all we're going to do is just hoard our zest until a character that comes back around in the actual nations comes through. So them actually making it to where they can have these other nations in there, but not having us have to actually go out of our way to level up the Signature Force and the core. Well, definitely still have to have the core memory, but at least the Signature Force aspect, which is by far the hardest. I feel like when it comes to the core memory, it's something that eventually, especially the Black Fate cores, shouldn't say for the gold ones on these things, that eventually you can kind of get there either like a 1 fuse or a 3 fuse. You don't have to, the 5 fuses take forever, but I think at least something eventually happens with the core memory. But when it came to Signature Force, if you don't target that nation from the inception of that thing being released, you have no chance of ever catching up. And so what were they going to have? 9 nations of, we would need to pull like 30 generals of each 9 nations. It was just, it would have been absolutely insane to ever expect people to do that. And there's really no good way to specialize in a nation. And also at the same time, I feel like there needs to be more... If they're really going to double down on this nation thing, I want more of an interaction to make these nations feel like they're actually, like you're really going with that nation, except just a stat boost or, you know, the Signature Force changes or which characters you choose. So them being able to have people move around, I think absolutely needs to happen, or no one's going to care. I feel like the easy counterpoint to that is just don't release other nations. There's absolutely no reason to release all these nations if you're already gonna make the Signature Force system. Why make 9 nations? That's just crazy. Or why make Signature Force all the way up to like 5, like stage 5 of it. So they kind of put this is a problem that they created themselves. But if they were intending on doing the Signature Force nation change system, if that was something that they actually wanted to do, and it's more than just one nation being able to move around, like it's actually some kind of system where you get a maybe farm a currency, and then you can, now this character is like a free agent or something like that, and you can have like a maximum of like 3 characters you can move around to other nations. And then it'd be kind of cool if it'd be like these nations are allied, like that you have like an alliance with these nations, so you can move them between them, but you absolutely can't move like, I don't know, someone from, I don't know the story well enough to say it makes sense, but like let's say someone from Greenland absolutely hates Wasted Red, so those don't work, but you can totally move someone from Greenland over to Brunn, Vagabond, something like that. Like there's actually like a tier, like not a tier, but like actual in the theme of the game, each nation has their own alliances and neutral parties and then warring against them. So I think there's a lot of potential there if they're going something like that. I don't know if that's actually the plan here. Maybe this is just a fix to make it to where people actually want to pull for this faction. I don't know, but I think seeing that, if that's actually a system that they're trying to release, there's a lot of potential to make Signature Force actually kind of exciting. Even though Signature Force is always going to be a very controversial topic, I'm just trying to stay positive in something that's already going to be here and is definitely here to stay. So might as well try to look for the positive parts of Signature Force instead of it just being this negative thing, which I think for most people it has been. So I'm glad that they're addressing it. I'm glad that they're going out. I'm glad that there's plans for the future, especially my previous video talking about how Exos potentially could be dead. I'm really glad that they're intentionally making plans a year out into the future. I think that is very encouraging for the player base that they've been doing that. I think the big thing, if they can release a roadmap talking about what new content that they want to add, I think it would make people a lot more excited for what's to come. I think a lot of games, Raid released one, Guardian Tales released a roadmap. I'm sure other games that I'm not playing currently released a roadmap. So it would be nice if they release one, at least for the next quarter or two, so we can get an idea what is the future of the game besides like stuff like this Quantum Raid, which I'm sure not many people are excited about. So that's it when it comes to this update here. I think this is actually a really positive thing, because I looked at this new character, it's like, oh, it's another general. Don't care, not going to pull for him. Still not going to pull for him because I am super tapped after Schmid, like probably a lot of people are. So there's that. But at the same time, even if I wasn't, I probably wouldn't pull for him anyway, because these characters like pulling for Carry or pulling for him, they're just such a long-term investment, because you're still not going to use them. Well, you might use them. It's in very rare case scenarios like Dorka or Schmid, before the Fake Core, they would be used, but that's such an outlier that this character would have to be absolutely insane to want to actually pull for now. But that's kind of how I'm looking at it, and at least having this makes it to where we can look forward to. We can actually get excited about the character as is, instead of realizing that this character's good, but I'm going to need to pull 9 of them, for example. So, all right, guys. Well, that's really all I want to say about this. Sorry, it was like a week late since this actually released, but I figured better late than never. And with that, guys, I'm out. Peace.